first we have to feel comfortable in the skin we're in, right? You have to be okay with whatever skin God has given you. You have to be okay with that. And then once that part is done, you have to be okay with whatever decision you make, good or bad. You have to be okay with that. Because if you make a decision and it's not okay, you're going to have a hard time accepting to convince the rest of the world. It's life. I've met so many people that have similar stories than like mine, and I'm always shook. Like, you always think this only happens to you, and then you meet people in life and then you go, oh my God, like literally similar stories. Like dad died while I was, right before I was born, or my mom, just life happens, and you gotta figure out a way to move forward, with love still intact in your heart. Hi, I'm Tamar. You're tuned in to Soul Therapy Podcast, where we will explore and talk about what it's like being a business owner as a woman, fashion, art, what it's like being an immigrant, travel, and so much more. I invite you to join me in my journey.
Kind of introduced to the world, who are you?
Now, this question always throws me off because I feel like I do wear so many hats and there's so many things that I do all the time at the same time. I don't know how to just dim it down to like a certain packaging style and be like, this is what Tamar is. But I will say I am a child of an immigrant. I've been here since I was 13. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I have 5 siblings, making me number 6. I own a few businesses with my wonderful brother. I'm a mother to 2 dogs who happen to make my heart beat, which you will get to know if you start following us. I am my mother's child in many ways. I love hard and I love celebrating life. Definitely proud African in ATL, that's for sure.
What's one kind of personal belief that you really hold dear to?
No job is beneath me. I'm not too good for any job, and I think it humbles you and it keeps you grounded. So working hard, being consistent, not giving up, believing that failure is not an option, but changes. Instead of failing at a business, I will change it in a heartbeat to something else to make sure it does better. Sometimes I need a little more convincing from my brother. He's a little more faster in that way thinking, but I think that's why our partnership works, because he'll go ahead of me on certain things and I'm like, let me take my time to get there because I'm not ready. I say change is always good, but feel comfortable to make whatever change you need within yourself first before you make the change to the world. It's great if you like it. We can talk about it. If you don't like it, that's okay. I don't care. Or it could be, I changed my business because this wasn't working and I don't do failure, so I'm gonna do it this way. The marriage didn't work out, tried hard, didn't work. I'll make the change. Like, you have to make change that's necessary for your life. So that I stand by. I think it's, first we have to feel comfortable in the skin we're in. You have to be okay with whatever skin God has given you. You have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
And then once that part is done, you have to be okay with whatever decision you make, good or bad. You have to be okay with that, because if you make a decision and it's not okay, you're going to have a hard time accepting to convince the rest of the world. I think women were so powerful in a way that we love just completely with every being. And this is not, do not come after me, men. This is not to say men don't, but I've never been a man. So I can only speak from a space of a woman,
That's right? That's right.
Do not come after me. But we don't give ourselves enough credit to heal, to change, to move on. It's either we're considered very, aggressive and we're angry, or we're just fragile. And we could find a happy medium. We don't always have to settle for whatever other people name us or give us, or a title. So I say to women, be you at all times, no matter whether someone is comfortable or uncomfortable with that. Be you, because everybody else is taken already. It's awkward when your husband interviews you, by the way, because it's
Yeah.
kind of like you know the answer, but you're asking me these weird questions. Moving on.
Just for the record, just for the record.
Just for the record.
Just for the record. What do you think that's needed to have a successful life? What would you say?
Balance.
Yeah, balance.
And I'm just learning this. I mean, maybe this is why it's time that I'm doing this, podcast, because I don't think I'm very good at balancing. I think I'm really horrible at balancing things. I don't take enough time for myself. I don't really vacation a lot. I don't splurge a lot on myself. I'm not that person that goes and crazy with shopping. You know that about me. Like, I'm not into cars. Like, I don't, like, just give me a car that works. Like, I don't care. And I'll come out in my gown in that old car. Like, I don't care, I think growing up in Africa, being born in Africa, growing up in Africa, you have a different appreciation. For me, and this is not to say for other people, but for me, how I look at life and how to balance it, especially now at this age, it's so important to love on people that are around you. Because when it's time for them to go and they go home, the regret, there's nothing you can do. And I don't want to live that. So I love my tribe. I love my friends. I love my customers. And I love my family. My nephews and nieces are my heart and soul. I have an amazing group of friends, wonderful marriage. You sit on my nerves at times, but
and vice versa.
And vice versa. But it's loving what you have and appreciating what you have, because it could be taken away so fast. And then you look back and you go, oh my God, I should have been grateful for what I had. I always tell you, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And then you'll go, babe, breathe. And then I'll go, but I want to do this, I want to do this. It's never to want more because of material things or money things. It's me wanting to explore the world, to see as much as I can, because I really don't know how much time I have here. I don't know how much time I have with you guys. And so I want to just celebrate as much as I can. So when I do stuff at home and I invite people and I see them having a good time in the backyard, or, sitting in here in the basement, I'm just kind of like, yeah, life is good. God, I'm so grateful. Yeah. When I'm not feeling well, you guys check on me and you guys, talk to me to make sure I'm okay, or you guys are saying, do you need anything? Like, I think about those people that don't have that.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind that, helps balance you?
My mom and God, not in that order, obviously. Mom, such a loving, kind-hearted, very giving, selfless woman that I can't go out and do others wrong because I don't know how to tell her that. That's not to say I haven't done, bad things in my life, or I haven't done things that I'm not so proud of. I can never go home and mom, let's say, heard about it, and then I'll have to face her.
Yeah.
Like, I can't face her.
Yeah.
So there's an advantage in that, and then there's a disadvantage in that too, because sometimes there are things that I really want to do, and I just always feel like, how's this gonna affect my mom or my family and whatever. So there's, you gotta find a balance. But mom centers me. I have a really good connection with my siblings, and mom is the center of our world.
What have you learned from your siblings coming up? The youngest of 6 siblings.
Oh my God, they had to grow up a lot faster than I did. My oldest sister was 9, 10, 11, like somewhere on there when dad died. So, they had to grow up a lot faster. So I was the unlucky one to not have met my dad, but I was the lucky one to have benefited from not having the burden to carry with the family responsibility like they did. So I think they didn't really have much childhood after dad left. After dad died, they became very mature very fast. They became mom's confidants, and they became protectors, and so it's life. I've met so many people that have similar stories than like mine, and I'm always shook. Like, you always think this only happens to you, and then you meet people in life, and then you go, oh my God, like literally similar stories. Like dad died while I was, right before I was born, or my mom, just life happens, and you got to figure out a way to move forward, you know, with love still intact in your heart. And mom cut that.
What is it that you want to be able to share in your platform of a podcast?
Yeah, this reality TV thing is crazy, man. Like I can't. With our businesses, we get approached a lot with a lot of stuff in Atlanta, and it's just so uncomfortable. I'm like, I'm never gonna fight with my brother in front of the world ever, and I'm never gonna fight in front of them with you. So it's like, what kind of entertainment can I possibly give you? Do you know how square and boring my life is in comparison to what happens at night? Could you imagine, honey? Like,
this 24/7?
No, this is uncomfortable already. Like I'm working so hard to not have anxiety attack.
So in a podcast, this is your opportunity to talk to the world.
Right. It's soul therapy was something we did at Therapy Lounge in Atlanta on Sundays with a few regulars that turned to friends and family. And we all looked forward to Sunday afternoons, And I don't know why. It's not like we didn't see each other Saturday night. But church or whatever people do, and then we get together, we talk about Black consciousness, we talk about Black power, we talk about supporting Black-owned businesses, we talk about our struggles, in the corporate world. We talk about, being a small business owner with the struggle, and we learn from one another. And sometimes it's deep and intense conversations where somebody's just emotional, or sometimes it's just really angry because we're all upset that this is, continually happening to us. But whatever the cause of the conversation is, it was always based on us. And that really was therapy for the soul. As we were trying to figure out what to call this was accidentally said, and it kind of was like, whoa.
Right.
It stuck, right?
Yeah.
I think it's very fitting. As far as like, why did I decide to do this now? First of all, my crew, the people that I'm always doing something with, my tribe, my marketing people, my media people, my event planners, like people that I'm very close with, and my husband and my brother Simon, my nephew and my niece, and our regulars. They would ask me questions, and I'm just talking about stuff, and then they'd be like, why aren't you doing your own podcast? I'm like, what is with this podcast? Like, why is everybody like attached to this? And I remember my nephew Izana saying to me, if I had people like you to listen to often, I probably will tune in a lot more than you think I would. And we were sitting at therapy when he said that, and you guys actually were all there at the bar. I don't know if you guys remember this. And I was like, now, my nephew and I are very tight, and we talk about stuff all the time. But it kind of touched me, and I was like, I value what he thinks of me. And he's a lot younger than I am. And for him to say, I really would tune in to hear what you have to say, that kind of was like, okay, that was... But I'm not gonna lie. Mike has been on me for 9 years about this thing. And I have been saying I'm private, I like my privacy, I like to keep it intact. And I haven't gotten away with it. I mean, I've gotten away for 9 years, but I haven't been able to get away from it now that especially the last year and a half, when all of you guys, it's like you guys had a secret meeting and then you came to therapy one day.
But we never talked to each other. That's
what you guys say. But I was like, why is everybody in the same accord? Like, it was very weird. And then I'm thinking Diamond is my saving grace, and I'm just like, can you believe this? They're super stressing me out. And she was just like, I just don't understand why it's taking you so long to realize. And I was like,
she was the ringer.
I was like, where is the, and then Simon, in a completely different conversation, just being like, I wish you would do this because you have a lot to say, and you've gone through a lot, you've fallen, you've picked yourself back up, you've succeeded, you've cried, you've had this and you've had this, and it's okay to just share that with the world. It's okay because you have a great, amazing support system here at therapy. And I was just like, okay. And then like 2 weeks later, so he's like, so did you guys come up with a date? And I was like, you don't remember nothing, and you remembered this. You actually remembered to ask me this. And I started thinking about it, and of course, the minute I said, hey, Mike, maybe I would consider this, it was that was it. He was just like, let's go. Yeah, it's time. I'm not the smartest. I'm not the most beautiful. I'm not the healthiest. I'm not the most educated. I'm not the wealthiest. I'm not the most successful. I'm none of those things. What I am is someone that's constantly trying to be better than I was the day before. I'm not always successful at it, but I can control how much I share. And a lot of people, by the way, and I don't tell you this, are always asking me to share stuff about you, even when I speak on panels and, Zoom things. I don't like talking about you, and I don't want the world to think I'm hiding you or I'm not proud of you. I just like how private we are because therapy doesn't, some things I want to keep to myself. And so I'm willing to share my mom. That's huge. But that's me celebrating her too. She just turned 6, and I have to continue to celebrate her in that way. I don't want it to look like I'm not celebrating, my marriage or my husband. I just like a certain part of that just for you and I, and not share with the world, just to have a little bit of something like to myself. That's mine. And so who is Tamar? I am growing and learning. I'm changing every day. I love love and friendship and relationships and familyship. I love growing and learning, and I'm constantly moving because I don't want to run out of time without enjoying every bit of everything around me, from the humans around me to my dogs that I consider my own child, children, to the world that I want to visit, to the places I want to go. So right now, who is Tamar? This is Tamar, the non-stop caterpillar and butterfly.